So BYD is set to launch yet another disruptor in the Philippine market with this brand new BYD Seal 5. Now what we're gonna be focusing today is this base dynamic variant because, well, spoiler alert, this variant that you're seeing here costs under 1 million pesos. Uy, interesado siya, under 1 million pesos. So yes, this BYD Seal 05 Dynamic, or rather Seal 5 pala, costs under 1 million pesos, which you're gonna be seeing later the full prices and specs of the two variants of the BYD Seal 5. As you're gonna see in the front end of the car, again, base variant to, this is the base dynamic, but you've got full LED exterior lighting. You even have this chrome finishing sa kanang front end. Then as you're gonna see here as well, sa kanang side mirrors, you're gonna see here the NFC receiver. So just like the other BYD cars, meron din itong kasamang RFID or NFC key fob or key card rather. Now you can basically stick to the car's side mirror to basically unlock and lock the vehicle. And then moving towards the side of the BYD Seal 5 DMI, you're gonna see here chrome trimming surrounding the car's windows. And in terms of the overall look of the car's side profile, it looks pretty modern, pretty sleek. Though very conventional, not exactly a bad thing though, because the car looks very nice, very modern, and really well proportioned, especially to the likes of the Toyota Vios, which looks a bit frumpy. This car, especially with its length of 4.7 meters long, looks even more well proportioned, which is especially helped with the car's long wheelbase and of course its long length, if that makes sense. Anyway, moving to the rear end of the BYD Seal 5, you're gonna see here yung kanang full width LED taillights, which have a clear, very sleek lens as opposed to the usual red lenses. The rear end looks very modern, very sleek, especially considering that this car that you're seeing here nga, itong base dynamic, costs under 1 million pesos. So yeah, plug-in hybrid and also best-in-class features. What more could you want in a sub 1 million peso plug-in hybrid sedan? And that's what you're gonna be seeing here as well inside the BYD Seal 5 DMI. So here inside the BYD Seal 5 DMI, as you're gonna see, this is the base variant as I mentioned, pero the interior is still very nice, very premium, and most of all, what I like about this interior is the fact na wala siyang gloss black plastic at all. The interior is filled with a lot of matte textures and very nice textured materials, which makes this a very premium interior even compared to the likes of the Honda City, and of course, most especially the Toyota Vios and the other affordable cheap Toyotas, and even cars like the MG5, the MG GT, and also the Geely M Grand. You have soft touch materials here on the top of the doors, also here on the top of the dashboard, which really makes this a very nice interior, very robust as well, very well built. Ang sobrang tangke nung pakiramdam nung mga panels niya. You even have storage here, by the way, under the car's center console, or rather the bottom bridge here, because yun nga, everything here is very electronic in terms of the gear selector, the car's park and brake, of course, is also electronic. And then, of course, in typical BYD fashion, you have these lovely bucket seats. Now, as for the rest of the interior, you have a center console storage with an NFC receiver sa kanyang itong armrest mo dito sa middle. And then, at least for this variant, wala kang wireless charging pad, but the range-topping premium gets a wireless charging pad along with a nice sunroof. Also, you have here your two large digital displays, 8 inches for the driver, or 8.8 inches yata for this driver's display, along with your 12.6-inch rotating touchscreen, of course, in typical BYD fashion, which has a slick interface. Though again, yun nga, like in other BYDs, the interface looks cartoonish and a bit childish for me. Pero in terms of the functionality, yun nga, yung kanyang touch response, it's unparalleled really in the segment. Yung kanyang software here in this car. So, yun nga, there's plenty of functionality. You can, of course, rotate the screen. And then yun nga, as you're gonna notice as well, in typical BYD fashion again, you don't have physical controls for the air conditioning, and rather, they're gonna be controlling everything through the car's touchscreen, for better or worse. Pero as you're gonna notice in some of my BYD reviews, there's actually a few shortcut gestures for you to learn to adjust the car's climate settings. So for example, if you're gonna be lowering the car's temperature, you swipe with 3 fingers up and down for temperature, and then left to right with a 3-finger gesture nga to change the car's fan speed. So not the best solution, but I think it's good enough na. Basically, if you don't want to dive into the car's menu system just to change the car's fan speed or the car's temperature. Now, for the range topping premium of the BYD Seal 5, yun nga, as mentioned, you have a sunroof for that variant, along with power adjustment for the driver's seat, and also very nice ambient lighting. Yun nga, as mentioned, that variant also gets a wireless charging pad, along with an 8-speaker sound system, while this base dynamic has a 6-speaker sound system. Now, I think that's a good time for us to hop into the backseats of the BYD Seal 5, which, as you're going to be seeing here, as I mentioned, this is a compact sedan that's only competing by price in the subcompact segment, and so therefore, you've got tons of space here at the back of the BYD Seal 5. So yun nga, it's a pretty good legroom, and in fact, you can even place your feet under the floor here, so talagang you can really stretch out here at the back of the BYD Seal 5. And then, apart from the excellent legroom, you also have very nice headroom despite this car's sloping roofline. And then, as I've noticed nga with a lot of Chinese cars, the interiors of their cars tend to be really wide, and so therefore, you can really fit 3 adults here at the back of the BYD Seal 5 nang hindi masyado nang gaagawan in terms of their shoulder room. Now, again, being the base Seal 5 DMI, wala kang center armrest here though, but you still have rear aircon vents along with 2 USB-A charging ports. So, let's talk about na ngayon the car's trunk space, because being a larger than subcompact sedan, there's plenty of space basically at the car's trunk, and so this really is a very practical, very usable plug-in hybrid sedan, and that's despite the fact na there's a charging cable ngayon at the back of the BYD Seal 5 DMI. Now, with the practicality part dealt with, I think it's a good time na ngayon for us to go outside and explore the car's engine, which, as you're gonna be seeing ngayon, this car has a 1.5-liter gas engine, along with, of course, a front-mounted electric motor. So this gas engine is not turbocharged, it's a 1.5-liter 4-cylinder. And in terms of the power output, you're gonna be seeing it below your screens, the power output of this car. And also, yun nga, in typical BYD fashion, when they make a plug-in hybrid, their DMI systems tend to be more electric motor biased compared to some of the Japanese hybrid powertrains. So, let's close this. And so therefore, I think that's a good time for us to start driving the BYD Seal 5 DMI. So as for the driving experience of the BYD Seal 5 DMI, well, as mentioned, it makes most of its system power from the car's electric motors rather than the car's gas engine. And so therefore, even if it's now driving in hybrid mode or HEV mode here sa kanang drive mode selector, it's still predominantly driving in pure electric mode, basically up to a point where the gas engine would need to start charging the car's battery. But until that happens, until it reaches that certain percentage where the gas engine will start kicking in, the BYD Seal 5 DMI will mostly be driving in pure electric mode. And so here's a long straight. Tell me if your Honda City or Toyota Vios can do this. Accelerate from 0 to 100 kph in just 7.3 seconds. Most of those cars in this segment, in the subcompact car segment, have a 0 to 100 kph time of around 9 to 10 seconds and not in the 7-second mark. And so therefore, if you're driving this car nga, it's the electric motors that are dominating the driving experience rather than the gas engine. So we're gonna be stopping here lang for a minute. And so I'm gonna be mashing the throttle here in 3, 2, 1. I don't think your Honda City or Toyota Vios is able to do that amount of acceleration. So yeah, electrification, guys. electrification can really augment a gas engine's performance and really make a car faster. And ngayon in this case, as we're just cruising around here in these streets around Evo City, the car's very quiet, the car's very serene, it's very peaceful, very refined. The chassis rigidity is actually really good. I love the chassis rigidity of this car compared to the other cars in this segment. And it's really doing such a good job in ironing out the road imperfections, which really helps in making the BYD Seal 5 a very relaxing long-distance cruiser. Especially nga that this car can travel more than 1,000 kilometers with having a full tank and of course, a full battery. So basically, we're gonna be focusing here mostly on the car's refinement and relaxed driving aspects because despite the car being able to accelerate at a very fast pace, this is not a sports sedan though. I mean, it's not a bad car, mind you. Hindi siya pangit i-drive. As a matter of fact, I've been loving every single BYD I've been driving for the past few months. And the BYD Seal 5 is pretty much no exception. The steering is light and pretty much not exactly with a lot of feedback, so medyo dead yung pakiramdam niya. Though, credit to where credit is due because the steering, unlike most Chinese cars, there's actually a bit of precision with the way the steering reacts to your inputs. Again, not the best in terms of steering feel, but there's precision at least with the steering wheel of this car. It is light though, so there's that part as well. And then when you push this car to the corners, yeah, it's soft in suspension niya, so it's really biased towards comfort. But again, yun nga, in its mission to be a very relaxing long-distance cruiser, I don't think that's exactly a bad thing because for most people naman, they want a car that's relaxing, comfortable from A to B, and that's pretty much fulfilled here with the BYD Seal 5 DMI. It's a comfortable car. Basically, if you're buying a Toyota Corolla Altis, hindi to nalalayo with the Toyota Corolla Altis. But if you're looking for something a bit more sporty, like for example, a Honda Civic or a Mazda 3, well, yun nga, those two cars are still much more sportier than the BYD Seal 5 DMI. Now, we're gonna accelerate here again because yun nga, as mentioned, the gas engine will only turn on mostly as a boost for the electric motors. So, ngayon lang bumakas yung gas engine. Yun. So, pansin mo, unlike in the other hybrids, yung mga other hybrids natin from the Asian brands, the gas engine here will only kick in when it's needed, which is sa totoo lang when you're really mashing the throttle with the BYD Seal 5. And so, therefore, for the most part, yun nga, this car's quiet, refined, and the engine, to its credit, doesn't sound coarse when you mash the car's throttle. That's really BYD. With how they do cars these days, they really put in their electric expertise at the forefront of their vehicles, even if it's a hybrid like this BYD Seal 5 DMI. The best part about the BYD Seal 5 DMI is that if you're a Grab operator, if you're a TNVS operator, or even yun nga, buying a car for your company fleet, the BYD Seal 5 DMI is also a very attractive proposition for that scenario. Because yun nga, if you're gonna be using this car mostly in its pure electric mode, wala kang gas expense, diba? You're gonna be hooking up the car to your corporate office's solar panel or yung mga ganong mga renewable energy solutions. And if you're able to do that, well, you've practically got a very affordable, very cost-effective, and very economical electrified plug-in hybrid sedan that will make a lot of sense financially and even in terms of yun nga, your operating costs. Once a year maintenance, mind you, only once a year maintenance with this car, and for as long as you're using it pangalalo as a pure electric car most of the time, you're not gonna be using the engine that much, and as a result, that will also help in your car's maintenance costs. So yeah, that's a BYD Seal 5 DMI for you. It's a game changer indeed, the subcompact sedan segment, and I can't wait to drive this car on a much longer term to basically give this car a full review.